What's up, kids ministry leaders? I hope you guys are doing well. I want to piggyback off my video that I did last week on relational evangelism. And today I just want to share with you the basic message of the gospel. My hope is that as we're sharing Jesus with our friends, that we know what we're sharing. And that's what I just want to bring us back to. So this is something I'm sure that you've heard before, but I have a hunch that you and I, that we can hear it again, because this is a message that we need to hear over and over again. So I'm going to start in Romans today. And so Romans 5:10 says, "For if while we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his Son, much more, now that we are reconciled, shall we be saved by his life." The message of the Christian faith is really simple. It's that you and I were created to be in a relationship with God. But because of our sin, everything wrong that we do, that relationship is broken. It's kind of like this bottle of Cholula sauce. It's like God is good, like Cholula hot sauce. And he's over here, and as mankind, I think we ought to want Cholula hot sauce. But we, on the other hand, are separated from God from our sin, so we're kind of like Blair's Ultra Death sauce. So we're here on the other end, and there's this crack in the middle, which is our sin. It's our broken relationship. And Cholula hot sauce, God over here, he's holy and he's perfect. So sin can't even be in his presence. And it leaves us in a really bad place. I mean, Blair's Ultra Death sauce, human life apart from God, is pretty rough, really hot, a lot of bad stuff, brokenness, broken relationships, sickness, death, all because we have this separation from God. But God knew that we had this problem, and he loved us, and he wanted us back with him. He wanted this gap to be bridged. But the only way to do that was to pay the price for our sin. Just like when someone commits a crime and has to pay a fee or do time in prison, the price for our sin is death. So, on a day in history, God sent his Son into the world like sweet syrup. Jesus. And Jesus came and he lived a perfect life that we could never live. And at the end of his life, he laid his life down for us. That our sickness, our death, our sin, that he would cover over all of it with his forgiveness. And so when he did that and he gave his life up for us back on the cross, and if someone puts their faith in the cross, it reconnects us back to God, reconnects us back to Cholula goodness, although God is much greater than Cholula. So when a person puts their faith in Jesus, they are reconnected to God. All their sins are completely forgiven, and our relationship with God is right again. God comes into our lives through faith, and he declares that we can have a whole new life in him, so that our life stops looking kind of a lot like death, and it starts to look a little bit more like the life that God intended for us. So there's no better news in the world than this, that because of what Jesus did on the cross, we could be forgiven and reconnected back to God. So my hope is that as you're initiating spiritual conversations with your friends, that God would give you an opportunity to share this message with your friends. And you can use whatever words that you want. The core message stays the same, but I'm confident that God will use you and that he will lead other people to believe in Jesus through you. So anyways, thank you guys so much. I love you. I miss you all, and I can't wait to hear the stories.